We were like in it to win it. We were having so much fun.
What year is this?
This is 2014.
Yeah. And the market now is just on fire in Manhattan.
Yes. And we were having an issue as a new brand in Manhattan,
Yep.
attracting top talent.
Sure, of course.
And I will say 2014 and 2015 were my heaviest years. I was at my biggest weight. And I started to just have this vision because my job was to go get the star agent to start at the company and like take us to the top. And I started to get a vision. I was like, what if that was me? I was like, because I don't feel right as a manager. Like, I'm not passionate about it. It's not what I was put on this planet to do. I was like, I want to be a star agent. I was like, I just can't do it looking like this. And that was always in the back of my head.
Sure.
Always in the back of my head. In 2015, I was at a Phish concert and I was out of my mind a little bit with a friend. And
If you haven't seen the documentary, by the way, have you seen the documentary?
No, not yet. But
Oh my
it's
God,
supposed to be so inspiring.
it's insane.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
So anyway, I was there with the same friend who got me into real estate, the guy of a Craigslist, and we were dancing, and I came so close to fainting. Like, and it was the first time that had ever happened to me.
Really?
And I had to like sit down and.
Now I can think of many reasons why you would have been fainting at a Phish concert.
It was just because I was like dehydrated and overweight and like trying to dance. I could not keep up.
Yeah.
And it was definitely my weight. It was and I just started sobbing in the middle of this concert. And we were all in this big outdoor arena. And David sat down next to me. And I remember looking at him. I was like, as soon as we get back to the city, I was like, I'm making an appointment. I'm getting weight loss surgery. I was like, and I'm going to take over the world. And he was like, all right. He's like, do it. And I did. I went back. It was literally like the next day. I had an appointment with my doctor. 2 months later, I had weight loss surgery, which was December of 2015. And then by August of the next year, I was down 200 pounds. And I would say, so this was where my real estate career.
You know, but I'm going to dig in on this first because I know what I mean. I know.
You know the story.
I know, but I want them to know.
Yeah.
You know, there has been a lot of positive and a lot of controversy around that surgery.
Of course.
Right. And like, you know, you get people that say I was liberated, and you get some haters out there that say, you know, you're going to put it all back on. You needed the discipline and blah, blah, blah. And like, so walk us through that. Like, because now today you put it on like a badge of honor, armor, and you tell tens of millions of people on television, like, I did this.
Totally.
Right.
And
and I love that.
Thank you.
I love and respect the fact that you've done that.
I get mixed feedback, and I was expecting that going into it.
Of course.
You know, so my mother allows me to tell this story. Don't worry, but she had a lap band probably like 15 years ago. Yeah. Lost a ton of weight. Ended up having a ton of complications, had to have it removed. And in that moment, I remember I was like, I'll never have weight loss surgery. And I was like, it's not for
sure.
And I was like, it's not going to happen.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And it almost killed my mother.
Yeah. And, hello, negative.
Right. And then like 4 years after she had that done, she switched and had the sleeve done. And I was so mad because I was like, why are you doing this again? I was like, we've already seen this. And she switched to the sleeve, and then like, she looked amazing, and like 2 years went by, and then like 4 years went by, she still looked amazing, and I was like, I was like, maybe I want to try that. So,
but that's such a vulnerable thing. I mean, look, people talk about vanity, and look, there's no doubt that has ruled part of the world for as long as we've existed.
Yeah.
Did you think you could have done it without it?
I had failed at it enough times to know that. People don't really look at food as the addiction that it is.
Yeah.
And like when people really don't understand it, I'm like, do you know somebody who's an alcoholic or a drug addict who's like in your family,
gambling,
somebody you love,
whatever,
right?
Yeah.
I was like, if there was a procedure that they could have that would cure them or greatly increase their chances of curing them, I was like, would you be open to them trying it? But because food is socially acceptable, because we can still show up to work, we can still get our jobs done, people just don't think about it the same.
No.
And probably the largest population of addiction probably goes to food. I don't know that for sure, but theoretically that makes sense.
If you look at the numbers in the U.S. of people that are overweight, and then the number of people that are obese, and then the number of young like teenagers that are obese, one could make the argument that
that's where I'm deducing it. I'm just like, I haven't run the numbers.
Yeah, but we can Google that. I mean, it's
it's
I have a couple friends that like that's their calling. That's what they spend their contribution time on. So let's go back. You do the surgery. And it doesn't, you don't transform overnight.
No.
But what started to transform after the surgery?
So it's you lose a lot of weight really fast the first 2 or 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost literally like 100 pounds the first 3 months. And so
that's insane.
It was insane.
You just lost Tristan.
Right.
I think Tristan weighs 100 pounds. What?
But
Kidding.
The crazy part is, firstly, while when you're that overweight,
yeah.
I remember I had lost like 80 pounds, and that was just when people started to notice. That's how overweight I was, because people were like, you lost a little weight, like what, 20 pounds probably, right? And I was like, you are dead to me. I was like,
or 80.
I'm like coming up on 100 actually, but thank you.
Wow.
And so the hard part is right after I lost it, the weight loss came to a screeching halt. And I went from losing a couple pounds a day sometimes to it was like a month and nothing had changed.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I'm still 100 pounds overweight. Like I still have a journey ahead of me. And so then
now the work begins, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it. It was like my higher power came down and was like, I got you. We're gonna do something special right now. And I remember I was going to bed one night and I was like, I need to start exercising. I was like, I just need to get to the gym. I had always been so afraid and so embarrassed to go to the gym. And I was like, and I know the only way I'm going to do it is if I'm very public about this on social media. I was like, and you know what? I was like, I want to document my weight loss on social media. And so I was like, I'm going to do 90 workouts. I was like, fitness classes. That was the commitment. I was like, I'm going to do 90 in 90 days. And I was like, every time I go take a class, I was like, I'll take a gym selfie and post it. Yeah. I was like, and that's what I did. And I remember those 90 days. They were maybe the most magical 90 days of my life because it started the first 30 days. I was really insecure because I think on day 5, I was like, what did I just agree to do? I was like, and I can't publicly fail. I was like, I'm posting online. And I was like, but there's no way I'm going to get through this. I know myself. After 30 days, I started to feel normal. But then the second 30 days, my sphere was like, you're so obnoxious. You're constantly, I wasn't getting support. I was getting a lot of like, you're so annoying. You've like become so full of yourself. You're constantly posting like these gym selfies. And so then I was like, well, maybe now I quit. Cause like, that's the last thing I want is for like people not to like me. I'm trying to make people love me right now. Yeah. And then but I persevered. I was like, I can't quit.
Why did you keep going?
Because I had enough, there were only like 2 or 3 real supporters at that point. But I really felt like I couldn't let them down. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it for them. And I was feeling incredible. The weight loss had started to pick back up again. And I was starting to see results. And I was like, those middle 30 days were very tough for me, like very, very tough.
What were you saying to yourself? What did you, like we were just thinking about like our time with Todd Herman recently, right? So like, what were you saying to yourself, the 6 inches between your ears, to keep yourself going when your friends are telling you this is getting annoying, your own self-conscious, oh my God, I'm doing this and yada. Like, what did you say? What did you do? What was the trigger? What was the anchor that kept you going?
I don't know if this is the healthiest, but I do remember what it was, which was, I can't be the guy who failed at it naturally and surgically. Like I was like, then what? I was like, then it just feels like I'm just walking towards death. I was like, if even this can't fix me. Yeah. And that worked for me. And it was a true fear though. Yes. It was like, I was like, the third option is I was like, I can't choose a life of obesity. I was like, and this has to work. Yeah. The last 30 days were insane. And at this point I had like 300 followers on Instagram. I don't have like a big audience. I wasn't on TV, right? This wasn't like all some things have changed. Things have changed. And anyway, the last 30 days, everything changed. Everybody who was not supporting me was like, okay, they're like, now I'm going to the gym because of you. One of my friends, and it was just like, all of a sudden I was like, yes. I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. And the coolest part was I have a friend who is a very successful modeling agent in the city. And he came up to me one day, and I don't know why this one just like really got me, but it's really just that thing of like, you never know who's watching. Yeah. And he was like, everybody in our agency, and he's like one of the top agents in the city, who was like, has been talking about how they need to get to go to the gym more. And he's like, so I told them to start following you. And he's like, now everybody follows you. And so we created an office challenge around you. And he's like, everybody failed after 10 days. He's like, so now everybody in my office thinks that you're a hero. He's like, you're the most talked about person at my office. And I was just like, here I am just like walking through life with like 300 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this huge modeling agency is following me and doing a competition about me, trying to keep up with me. And like, you don't know this is going on.
No idea.
And then I went into the gym that I go to, Mark Fisher Fitness, who I love. That man has changed my life. And the front desk woman who had never spoken to me, she's like, I have to tell you a story. She was like, my sister just had the same weight loss surgery that you did. And she's been following you on Instagram and just realized that you've been posting at my gym, and reached out to me today and was like, do you know this Tyler Whitman kid? She was like, I go to the gym because of him. And it was all of these things just started happening almost every day. And I was like, oh, like really learned the power of consistency, just persevering through all of the things, like through the self-doubt and then through the group doubt, and then to get on all the other side of that and just have like nothing but support. And of course, like a few people faded out of my life,
of course. And
I was like, thank God, right? Like if people aren't on like the journey with me, then that's fine. Go find your own.
You're a supporter of your friends, right? And
totally.
close friends and farther acquaintances, because that's who we are. But if they're not going to support you, it's not the end of the world, people.
Yeah.
Right. It's not the end of the world.
And so the last post that and so every single post had a formula. It was day this, workout this. Because sometimes I did take a day off and then I would do 2 on another day.
Yeah.
And so and it always had like some big explanation. It was like some huge paragraph.
Yeah.
And a ton of hashtags, like a gazillion hashtags. I was trying to build my following.
Yeah.
And so on the very last day, I was like, day 90, workout 90. And then I was like, what am I going to post? And I just put hashtag worth it. And that was the whole post. It was just simple. It was like those 4 words. And it got shared. The next morning I woke up with like 7,000 followers on Instagram. It was on the Explore page. And I had like this epic before and after picture that I was so proud of. I remember when I saw that before and after, that was like the first time I was like, because when you
old before?
Like old
pre-surgery before?
Pre-surgery.
Like falling down at the Fish concert?
Yeah, like 400 pounds before.
Wow.
And at this point,
I saw that photo, but I want people to get like,
I mean,
you were just saying 90 days before.
Yeah, no. This was like the before, and that was the first time I had ever done a side-by-side comparison, and I didn't realize just how much I had changed until that moment. And then everything changed. I feel like that post, that picture changed my life forever. Yeah. It changed my identity. All of a sudden I was a warrior. I was a successful person. I was all the things I had dreamed about being, and people started busting down my doors to do business with me. Yeah. It was like I had created this army of people who were like, he's a rock star. I want to buy homes from him. I want to sell homes from him. And so
are we still in like 2015? This is
2016.
Yeah.
And I went to Phil and David, who started Triple Met, and were like, I want to stay at the company. I was like, I'm not leaving. Yeah. I was like, but I'm going back to selling. I was like, I just want to be an agent. Yeah. I don't want to be on the executive team at the company. Yeah. I was like, that's not what I want. And I thought it was going to be a difficult conversation. And they were like, go be our star. Yeah. And I was like,
go make it happen.
Yeah, go make it happen. And so immediately my first step was like, I'm going to start a team. I was like, I don't have enough business for a team. I was like, I'm not doing an insane amount of sales. I was like, but I know I want to be one of those guys with an awesome team.
Yeah. And
so I picked the 2, as I was stepping down as manager, but I picked the 2 favorite agents that I had been managing, Ashley and Josh, who are still on my team today.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys want to start the Whitman team? And they were like,
sure.
They were just like, so just like,
do we have to work out every day?
Well, I actually met Ashley at the gym. Like, of course we were already in that. And I felt so guilty because 2017, there was not enough money to go around. Yeah. They really believed in me that we were going to build something. And then 2018, we had a pretty great year. And at the end of 28,
Back up though.
Okay.
So 2017, now you're like, I'm a stud. I'm feeling good.
Yeah,
I got my swag on. I got my team, and we suck shit.
Yeah.
How did you get through that? Don't gloss over that one, man.
I think I was riding such a high, and at that time I had started this 2016. I had started with a life coach. 2017, I had started coaching with you guys, and so I had 2 great coaches from like 2 different categories, really kind of like guiding me through it. And my mindset, I was genuinely so proud of myself that it was really hard to get me down. My team was it's hard to say they weren't disappointed financially, because I think we were all kind of expecting like, oh my God, we're going to have like this huge thing. We're going to be stars. And it didn't happen, and, but we didn't give up. I think that's all I can really say, is that we still showed up. We were like, we're going to make this happen. And towards the end of 2017, we just started, as my original coach, Vonda, would say, Mr. Mo came to town and Mr. Momentum. Yeah. And it was like all of a sudden we're like, wait, so something's starting to happen. This doesn't feel like, this doesn't feel like coincidence.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, we had a really big year. We had a really nice year in 2018.
There's a lot of agents and salespeople, and like, so what does that mean? Like, what's a big year?
For me that year,
numbers.
So 2017 GCI, and keep in mind I was paying an assistant and I had the 2 agents under me, because I think most people hear this GCI and be like, that wasn't a bad year. Yeah. But I think we did like 450,000 for all that year, which means that they made like 40 or 50 grand each probably that first year, which in New York is nearly impossible to live on. Yeah. I think I barely made 100 grand that year. Yeah. And so, and
they're like, go be a star.
I know. And I was like, gonna eat Chinese again. Yes. And so, and then 2018, our GCI was like 1.6 million. So it was, we had like tripled that year.
Mr. Mo came down.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Momentum is here.
And we didn't change our team at all in 2018. It was still the same size. And so we were really excited. We were feeling good. All of us were making money. And
what was the difference?
It was,
from a practical standpoint, what was the difference?
It was the longer version of my 90-day fitness challenge.
Bingo.
That's exactly what it was. And I remember I always came back to that. And both of my coaches were constantly like, remember when you thought it wasn't going to happen, and then everything around you felt like it wasn't going to happen, and then all of a sudden it happened in the craziest way you ever expected. Yeah. And that's exactly what, like, that was the lesson of 2018 for me. I was like, you're going to go through uncomfortable things and just keep pushing. It's going to be uncomfortable. Every single time something great is about to happen, it's going to be really uncomfortable first. And that still happens to me. December was, this most recent, last month, was awful for me. It was just like business, personal life. I had so many bad things happen. And it was just like, I was like, okay, that has to be the last one, right? I was like, I can't do another. I was like, I just can't. And January has been the most magical month of my entire life. And it was just another lesson again. I was like, oh, and now I'm like getting to a point where I'm like, I can't wait to be uncomfortable again. Like that's become like the shift in me, because I'm like, that means that something insane is about to happen.
Bring on the pain, right?
Yeah.
Bring on the pain. That's the story of your this whole journey is take the pain, right? Take the pain, keep going.